By day, I'm a humble shopkeeper. By night, I dive into the unknown as an adventurer. Welcome to Moonlighter, an action RPG where we live in a village with a strange ancient ruins that have gateways to other dimensions. Join me as I venture through these portals, loot treasures, and turn my small shop into an unstoppable empire. So let's begin this adventure. For the difficulty, I'll be choosing hard as the game recommended this. So we start our adventure by going into the dungeon. I then fought a bunch of slimes with my giant mop. They were not really that hard as you can see, just poking them made them die. But something truly unfortunate happened. I entered our room where there were like an unstoppable amounts of enemies spawning. So I'm pretty sure I'm dead here. I don't think I'll be able to survive this predicament. As you can see, there's just no room for me to stay safe or even fight back. The enemies just keep spawning and I have no other choice but to accept my fate. I did fight back though. I used all of my power to fight back, but well, I just died. So what happens if you die in the dungeon is it just throws you outside. I'm just happy that I'm still alive and kicking right now. So this old man is called Zenon and he saved me from this predicament. He told me that I am now the last of my family and the only one left to run this store, the Moonlighter. He knew that I just can't stop my adventurous heart, so he gave me a sword and shield. He also taught me how to open up my store and sell products to random merchants or random customers that stumble upon my store. So in this game, there are facial expressions that people show you. If ever an item's price is normal, then that means they have a happy face. If it's bad, they have a frowning face. And they have a really sadder face if ever it's too overpriced. If it's like very cheap, they have like a very exciting expression. So it can tell you if you should change the price of the items you sell from what you gain in the dungeon. Just like this dude right here. Look at him frowning. I'm selling this rock for like a very high price. Anyways, I wanted to continue my adventure, so I went to the dungeon again. One of the easy monsters I encounter here are these grass-looking things. They don't really have any special attack. They just approach you to like stab you with their twigs, I guess. The more threatening one is this thing. It's like you can't stagger it. I mean, it gets pushed back. But you would need like a long-range weapon like a spear in order to not get hit. Or if you're fast enough, you can hit it and like roll back. There was also this jar thing that spits like water. So I have to be careful and not facing this in order to protect myself from damage. And then there's these small slimes that are very easy to kill. I then discovered a skeleton in the dungeon. And this guy had a pendant. And what this pendant does is if you give it money, it can teleport you back to town along with all the items you've looted so far. So this pendant is gonna be very useful if ever our life is in danger. But it needs time to charge up before it delivers us to town though. With all the loots I've gotten so far, I opened up my store. I did not really know how to price my things. So most of the customers that came here were either very happy for my pricing or very sad for my pricing. I had to keep changing the price until I found like what price will make them satisfied. Maybe these things for like 100 was too expensive. I don't know, man. I also didn't want to sell my stuff that I looted so cheap. So I wasn't really sure. Anyways, on our first venture, we made like 1,300 gold. Let's go. I then continued plundering at the dungeon. Sometimes I encounter these enemies that are color red. It means they're higher leveled than before. You can actually see what kind of level they are on the top of their names. There's like the small square on their name. So it determines how strong the monster is. Another thing is whenever you open up a treasure in the game, there are sometimes curses that has like specific conditions. The two lines that you saw earlier, it means that it has to be on the sides. Also in the dungeon, there are resting spots like this where it's like, I think it's a hot spring. And what this does, it heals your HP. So that's pretty useful. And finally, we have the boss of the dungeon here called the Golem Warrior. So we have to fight this guy. The easiest way would be to dodge each time it attacks. I just need to be careful. Hopefully I can beat this guy or else I lose all my items. I tried using my broom instead of my sword so I can maintain distance, but I feel like this is not really as good as the sword. I think it would have been faster if I used my sword and shield, but whatever, we're doing great damage. It's almost dead. We got this. Just a few more hits and it should die. Good thing I have potions. And yes, we have defeated the golem. Let's go! Now we can go to the floor too. For now, I decided it was time to go home as I looted enough already. I then used the money I've earned so far to unlock both the potion seller and the blacksmith. Both of these guys will be very helpful in our adventures. I then opened up my shop again because I needed more money as I spent most of it already. I made about 3,000 gold in profit. Let's go. I then checked out whatever the blacksmith can make for me. I didn't really have any materials at all, so it was time to dive the dungeon once more. There was a new type of monster I encountered in the dungeon. This was like a slime with a stone glove, I guess. They're not really that hard to fight. As long as I dodge their first attack, I can then continue on and kill them. But as you can see, I'm struggling a lot. I need to improve my spear. This mop is not doing anything at all. My sword and shield is good though. Let's look at the damage in the sword and shield. 25 per hit. Also, sometimes in the dungeon, there were these, I guess, openings to another dimension. We can basically enter like the next dungeon after I conquered this one, but only a partial part of it. So this is the forest dungeon. I'm surprised how I could handle the enemies here. So that's good to know, I guess. We're ready for the forest. Also, sometimes there's this sparkling thing on the bottom part of the dungeon. It's either sometimes items or sometimes a chest that can deliver stuff to your base. And since I wasn't that healthy anymore, I decided that after killing this golem right here, I would return home now. Even with the items I got so far, it wasn't enough to craft a single item from the blacksmith yet. Anyways, per usual, I opened my store and it seems I sold an item for cheap because this grandma was very happy to get this. For my total profit for the day, I got around 3,100 gold. The next day, to the dungeon again. The grind never stops. Once we can make a new weapon or even just a piece of armor set, our lives would be much easier in the dungeon, I believe. There were also this thing which green light shines below the dungeon floor. So I dropped myself down and I saw a green gate. I wasn't sure what it was, but I entered it anyways. So this place was called the Wanderer Dungeon. It had a new type of enemy, this guy with a hazmat suit spraying poison all over the place. It wasn't really that tough, so I was pretty happy that I can handle this guy. Also, monsters from other dimension also spawn here. So not just the monsters from the Golem Dungeon. This plant right here was a monster, I believe, from the Forest Dungeon. I had to hurriedly try and use my amulet though because I was dying. Time to go home. Anyhow, I spent the day again selling my stuff and got a total of 3,500 gold. Currently, I have a total of 9,000 gold on my inventory. And so, I went to the dungeon again, entered another green portal, but unfortunately, I encountered a monster here that looked like a blue flame. I just couldn't figure out how to kill this thing. It was invulnerable to most of the attacks I did. So I gave up and just teleported home. I just didn't want to die from this guy just because I don't know how to kill this thing. I re-entered the dungeon and thought to myself I shouldn't go to the green portals. I should just remain on the dungeon where I'm currently at, the Golem Dungeon. So there was this mechanic where a chest is gonna sink unless I kill the monsters on time. And upon returning home, I finally had enough materials to make an armor. I made myself a headband first. I chose this armor piece because it had an increase in movement speed, and I like movement speed. The next day, I opened up my store again and made 2,000 gold. And so I ventured the dungeons once more. But since I already defeated this golem warrior right here, it was fairly easy the second time around. So I already know what it can do. But well, there's a mishap always from time to time. Anyhow, I really don't like the curses in the game because it makes you do more of the inventory management. You can see here, the cursed items can't be stacked together with normal items, so you really have to decide what to bring or what not to bring. But there's also an option to just sell the item that you have on hand, as you can see here, but the value of selling items while in the dungeon is not really that high. Anyhow, I can finally make a new weapon. I made myself a two-handed sword. Big sword means big damage, right? Well, hopefully. For the other items I didn't need, I sold it in my store. I then went to the dungeon at night and... well, the damage is okay, I guess. Just that the attack speed is pretty slow. Also, if you notice that I have an orange bar on my health, I actually upgraded my house, specifically the bed. It now gives me an additional 50 health whenever I sleep in it. The attack I like about this two-handed sword is the spin attack. It's a special charge attack. The damage it does is a crit, basically 2 times the normal damage I usually do. It's risky, but really strong at the same time if it hits. Anyways, in this green portal dungeon, I fought a boss called a giant slime. It looked really scary at first, but as long as you just stay away from where it jumps, it's fairly easy, as you can see here. I missed my spin attack though. I'm pretty dumb. Anyways, let's continue whacking this thing until it dies. The thing about this slime is, when you kill it, it divides into 2. Killing it again divides it into 2 smaller parts. Then another 2 smaller parts. And I think... actually, it's 4. But I think that's the last one. And after defeating all the slimes, I got this reward that only exists in the dungeon. So whenever we go out, this will disappear. That's pretty sad. So it was a spear that has like pretty high damage, I guess, and has a buff effect. I tried it out and, well, the damage was pretty great. 55 per hit. It's amazing. I met an unfortunate end as I was trapped in this path here. There was no place to roll. I could have rolled up and down, but I kept like moving forward. I was pretty dumb right here. Even with 1 HP, I was feeling brave, but it was actually the effect of the spear. When I attacked, it took some of my life and I died. I lost so much item and I'm so devastated. I also lost my sword and shield because I wasn't wearing it. I headed back to the dungeon because I did not want to go home empty-handed. Well, I didn't really have any other weapon anymore. I only had my two-handed sword. It was actually pretty fun to use. I then went home and bought a bunch of upgrades to my shop. I now have an iron cash register, which increases the amount of gold I receive from selling stuff by 10%. I also bought myself a sale box. Basically, I can just put all the items I want to be on sale and people could just get it. But I don't use it that much because 70% discount? What? I don't like getting like lower amounts of gold for my hard work on getting the items in the dungeon. I guess we can put stuff here that are not really valuable and we just want to disappear from our inventory, I guess. Anyways, I opened my store today as I wanted more money so I can upgrade my shop. The total profit per today was 11,000 gold. Amazing. And with the gold I have received so far, I upgraded my shop. Nothing in the outside really changed, but the inside should have become bigger. The beauty comes from within, totally. And as you can see, we now have extra place to put items on display. We can also start decorating our shop now, and various decorations have various effects. So now it was time to grind at the dungeon again, because I needed more money. Also more materials in hopes that we can upgrade our gears and also craft new gears. And now it was time for floor 2's boss. It was a corrupted golem warrior and it had the ability to teleport and surprise attack me. I was so scared of this guy. Like, I don't know how to time my dodge well in order to not get hit by that. So now I'm in a panic where I would die. And I died. I hate it. I lost a lot of items. Oh my god, I was so happy collecting everything I've got so far. Well, that didn't stop me from grinding again. Gotta make up for the losses I got so I have something to sell at my store. Upon returning home, I then upgraded my sword to this stony looking version of it. Look at how big and threatening it looks. Cool. Excited to use my sword, I immediately headed to the dungeon and I can now one-shot most of the monsters. I could even speedrun the golem now. It has a stun effect. The other version of it had more damage, but since I didn't have the material to make that one, I made this one. Look how fast I killed the boss. Let's go. For the floor 2 boss, however, I still had a hard time because of its teleport ability. I just didn't know how to time this right. And, well, my sword wasn't that strong to like, you know, save my life. So I just hurriedly teleported back so I can get my items back. I continued my grind at the dungeon. My goal is to upgrade my gears so I can finally have a chance at that second floor's boss. Remember that blue fireball? I finally figured out how to do damage to it. You just need to roll over their face and they will get shocked and you are able to hit it. And with my new two-handed sword, this slime was actually very easy to destroy now. I just waited for it to jump, then spin to win. Just look at that critical strike of 110 damage each spin. Crazy. And by defeating the slime, I got myself a glove artifact. And as usual, it will disappear after we leave the dungeon. The damage is pretty amazing, 55 per hit, and it's pretty fast. This made me actually want to make a gloves for myself. I don't particularly understand what the buff does, but anyways, each time I punch now, it takes like 1 damage from my HP, and I didn't really like it that much. And then I returned home and sold a lot of goodies, earning a total profit of about 22,000 gold. Let's go. And for the next couple of days, I just kept going to the dungeon collecting more materials, just waiting for the day that I have enough to make myself an armor, a boot, and another upgrade to our weapon. I finally had enough to make myself an armor, and this armor also gave like movement speed. I now had a total of 160 HP. And with my 160 HP, my new sword, it was finally time to fight the corrupted Golem Warrior again. So I have a trick here where if he teleports, I can just charge up my skill. I just realized that I become invulnerable as long as I do a special attack like that spin move. So I don't need to time my dodges right. I just need to charge up whenever he teleports. The only thing I need to dodge probably is the smack on the ground. And I can easily counter his teleport attack with my charge attack. So now this golem was nothing. We can finally access the 3rd floor once we defeat this guy. Look how easy I'm countering his teleports and my spin to win. Let's go! Now we have reached the 3rd floor. I got myself a new artifact from this floor, and what it does is it creates a portal from where we left the dungeon to our base. So we can just go home, store all our items, and come back to where we left from the dungeon. Pretty useful. It costs more than the pendant though, maybe 4 times more. And so I checked out how tough the monsters are on the 3rd floor, and dang, they're actually pretty tough. Like, they're tanky and they're strong. But our sword charge attack is strong as well, so it wasn't really that hard to eventually kill everything here. I had to decide to go home now though, because as you can see, there are a lot of items in my inventory right now. I also got an amulet here called a Vampire's Amulet. What it does is it increases my attack by 20%, but it gives me the ability to lifesteal with 2% of my damage. Anyways, upon returning home, I crafted myself a gauntlet and upgraded it to the tier 2 version of it. I now have a weapon that can make me attack very fast, and there's also a charge attack which rushes forward to an enemy. Just look how fast the action is with the gloves. The only problem though is it doesn't attack as wide as the sword, but it's really fast. So look at how fast this thing is. I mean, look at this poor boss dealing with my gauntlet. Look how fast I'm attacking. It's crazy. The crit charge is also really nice. Also, now that I know the trick to this floor 2 boss, look how easy I destroy this thing with my charge attack. It's just so easy to counter this guy now. Well, sometimes I forget to charge up and I get hit like that. But whenever I remember, it's always easy to just, you know, charge and attack this thing. The lifesteal is pretty useful. If you can see my HP going up and up, it's not that high, but it's pretty useful. But 20% of my attack power, I might consider unequipping my vampire ring or amulet. Anyhow, I decided to use my portal. Look, it makes a door which I can teleport home to. And what happens is the door remains there unless we go to another dungeon or we use it to get back. Anyways, with enough materials, I crafted myself a boot. Now I have a total of 180 HP. Totally wasn't sure how the portal works, so I just entered the dungeon again in hopes it would take me to the 3rd floor. I didn't know that the door was at where I explained before, where we came back to town. So I made an oopsies and wasted money teleporting back home. And so I tried my best again to climb the dungeon to the 3rd floor. But it's way easier now that we know how the golem attack pattern works. And once we reached the 3rd floor, I tried the portal again. This time I made sure to make use of this. Turn to the place where we came from. You just use the door here. And now we're back to the place where we left, the Golem Dungeon 3. Not only do we get back to where we came from, it also shows us the complete map now. So we know where to go, where the main boss is. Another thing unexpected happened while I was exploring the 3rd floor, that the chest suddenly moved. It was actually a mimic. It was pretty scary. I was scared that it might kill me, but my sword did a lot of damage to it. So not a problem at all. Eventually reached the gate towards the final boss of this dungeon. And for the boss here, it was a giant Golem X slime put together, called the Golem King. I immediately rushed to its face and started whacking it with my gauntlet, but I was scared, so I had to back off. Now it spammed like rock attacks, and also now the slime is winding up its attack on me, which... oh, it threw its giant slime arm on me. So I believe my strategy here should be to just keep whacking the golem until it dies, like not caring. I have potions on my inventory. I should be fine. Just keep doing this again and again. But I should make sure to avoid attacks so I don't, you know... so I have extra potions in hand and just not waste the entirety of my potion stock. If I didn't mention, you can only carry like 5 potions at once. I mean, you can carry more, but you can only equip like 5 at a time, and you won't be able to open your inventory unless the enemy in front of you is defeated. So 50% more and we would have defeated this Golem King. And I believe, yeah, as you can see, the glove is doing way better. But I was hoping that my charge attack on my 200 sword would avoid a bunch of damage. Well, it is not really working well. I'm close to dying. Like, oh my god, that slime attack is really strong. So I'm betting my all on just rushing the enemy's face. It's me. I mean, it's him before me. Die first, so I can loot your glorious bounty. Come on, just a few more hits. A few more hits. Die, 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 die. One more combo, and we have defeated the Golem King. Let's go! By defeating this Golem King, we have received one of the keys to the main goal of this journey, which would be to open the 5th gate. Then claimed my reward, and there was another accessory here, also a lot of books and blueprints. So this ring was the Golem King's amulet, and what it does is increase the wearer's HP but decreases the movement speed as if you were a golem, a very slow golem. Good thing our equipment set is movement speed. Also, by defeating the Golem King, the dungeon towards the forest is now open. We can now go to the forest dungeon. I also upgraded our shop before sleeping by expanding the chest. And by wearing the Golem King's amulet, my HP increased to 216. I then opened my store and a suspicious person entered. He looked like a ninja and he had an icon like a burglar. So I should be wary of this guy. He might steal something and run away with it. And he actually did. So the only way to counter this is to fight him and give me the item back. The total profit I made for the day was around 28,000 gold. The next day, I opened my shop again. My goal was to sell everything I had before I entered the forest dungeon. And for the profit of the day, it reached about 113,000. Crazy. The Golem King's loot that I got recently sold for a lot of money. Now I can upgrade my bed, my cashier, and my store. I now have like 2 extra places to sell my stuff. Also, I can now accept requests from NPCs if ever they have items they want to request. With the upgraded bed, I now have like 100 extra HP plus a shield that makes me invulnerable for 1 attack. I then upgraded the town and added the retailer. And what this guy does is he sells stuff from the dungeon but at a really high price. Not really worth it unless you don't want to waste your time diving the dungeon. Just look at the price this guy is putting the items for. Crazy numbers, I swear. I then crafted myself a bow. I decided that maybe having a long-range weapon is a good idea. And I continued opening my shop because I still have a lot of items on stock right now. I then went back to the Golem dungeon because I was lacking a specific item to level up my bow to the tier 2 version of it. Honestly, upon trying out the bow, I wasn't really a fan of it. The damage just wasn't there. But I believe that a long-range weapon really is essential later on the game once like we meet like or face a monster that we just can't fight melee. Then this bow would have a really great role against that. I then decided to make myself a spear. The bow damage was just too bad for me that I needed something else that has a longer reach than the bow. And my answer to that is the spear. The spear was honestly working wonders against enemies like these golems that needs to get close to you in order to deal damage. And every third strike is a crit. It's amazing. I thought that I could fight the Golem King again, but upon entering the room, there was no more Golem King but a bunch of mobs inside the Golem King's area. So the goal here now is just to kill these guys as fast as possible before all the chest rewards sinks down. Sadly, I wasn't fast enough for the gold chest, but as you can see, the rewards are worth the time. Okay, so I believe I've already finished all I wanted to do at the Golem dungeon. I already have my new weapons, my spear, and my gloves. So the only thing to do now is just sell everything I have from the Golem dungeon because we won't be needing it once we start exploring the forest dungeon. I gained about more than 80,000 gold from selling everything, which I used to buy myself a cloud bed upgrade to my store. Now had a buff that gave me 250 extra HP with 3 invulnerable hits. That's amazing, actually. So now it was time to explore the forest dungeon. As you can see here, the enemies consist of like these potato looking things. One threw like, I guess, wind balls and the other like poison. There's a lot of poison floors in this area, so I should be worried. There's also these exploding flying grapes and a spinning mushroom. These guys were they weren't really that tough. It's not like it's like next level thing, but yeah, everything is manageable. I think I should give all the thanks or credit to the bed that gave us 250 extra HP, because that 250 extra HP is way bigger than our current HP pool. And for the first floor boss, it was a Mavu tree. And how it attacks is, as you can see on the screen, it summons like a root and we play like jump rope with it, except we just dodge inside of it because we can't jump. And yeah, that wasn't that hard. This is a tier 2 sword and shield, by the way. So I continued my adventures on the second floor. And as you can see, everything is getting tankier and tankier. I need a new weapon upgrade. As for the boss on the second floor, it was a corrupted Mavu tree. And this time, it still summoned the jump rope thingy, but now it spews like poisonous fruit or something that leaves like poison ground. It was pretty tanky because my damage just wasn't there, but it was pretty manageable. But I feel like I just don't have the DPS to survive this entire fight. But I still did my best to defeat this tree. The only problem was the moment it started spewing like its fruits, I was in a panic and just couldn't defend properly. I held up my shield in hopes that I won't die. But well, you know, that happened. Yeah, I died. I wasted a lot of items as well. I then checked the blacksmith, see if I could upgrade anything, but well, there was nothing to upgrade. I was lacking so many materials to go to the next tier of items. The next day, I decided to raid the Golem dungeon for now. I just needed materials to upgrade my bow to tier 2. So my main weapon would be the sword and shield, and my secondary would be a bow. And after upgrading my gears, I raided the forest dungeon again. This time, my goal isn't to defeat the second boss yet because I already experienced the agony of what it does. For now, I'll just focus on collecting materials so I can upgrade my gears. One of the monsters here was a... I don't know how to describe this. A stump that has like a blade leaf on its head and it spins it around like a Beyblade and throws it at me like a sawmill that tries to damage me with its blade. And it's pretty tanky because this guy is a tier 3 after all. There are also these pea shooters, kind of dangerous if I don't avoid like their attacks. They hit pretty hard. Anyways, I was only lacking on like 2 more items so I can upgrade my sword and shield. Also my bow. For the armors though, it's pretty hard to collect the materials I require. Maybe they're at the 2nd floor or maybe the 3rd floor. I need to defeat the 2nd floor boss in order to get like the remaining items to upgrade our gears. So the answer to our problem, just more grinding so we can upgrade our gears. I had a situation where I had to fight up a mimic that dealt like a whole crazy ass damage. Also, it kept teleporting from above and dropping on my face. So this was the good thing of having a bow. It would take a while to kill this thing, but at the very least, we won't be dying anytime soon. So what I did was hit and run against this mimic right here who kept teleporting on my face. As long as I pay attention, I shouldn't die. The fight honestly lasted a while as my bow didn't really do that much damage, but I emerged victorious and got the item I needed to upgrade my sword. The only problem was I only received 1, so I need 1 more of that root and I can upgrade my sword. Then went down and found like a unique structure. It was a, I don't know how to call this thing, but anyways, it spawned a chest and also spawned some portals. I was feeling confident because I still had some potions, but as you can see, I'm in a state of panic right now as it summoned like so many pea shooters and so many other monsters that I had to teleport back home to save my items. Then check the blacksmith. I still didn't have enough items to upgrade my gears. I do, however, have enough to upgrade one of my armor. Sadly, I didn't have enough gold, so I need to open my shop and sell stuff to get some gold. And that's what I did. I made sure to store the items that I need to upgrade my gears on a separate chest. The forest dungeon loot sold for a lot. I swear, I'm profited like 120,000 gold from all of that. Crazy. Gold on hand, I then upgraded my bandana to tier 2. Now I had a total of 252 HP. And so the grind continues again at the forest dungeon. I can't wait to have the upgrade to my sword. I swear to God, I need an upgrade to my damage so I can easily kill these monsters. Upon returning home, I upgraded my boots, further increasing my HP pool to 276. And then I grinded some more for those lovely materials. I wanted to go to the 3rd floor so badly, so what I did was use the other artifact to make a portal. Now I'm full HP with 5 potions in hand with an extra 250 HP from the sleeping buff plus 3 invulnerable attacks. So fighting this corrupted Mavu tree, I can just tank it all. I have extra HP anyway, but I decided to just, you know, play it safe and like not waste the free invulnerability I had on the sleeping buff. I really hate its root attack. It's so random and erratic that it's very hard to dodge. The root or the skipping rope attack is manageable though, as you can see here. For some reason, my game sound was corrupted here or bug, I guess, because it was so low. It only happens when you teleport in and out of a dungeon using that door. Anyways, as you can see, we have a higher chance of defeating this boss now compared to before when we didn't have our buff. I'm very thankful for the artifact to give us this opportunity, which we had 250 extra health and 3 extra shield. I eventually managed to kill the boss and we got the remaining bulb we need to upgrade our sword. Let's go. Explored the 3rd floor first before returning home as I still had like a lot of inventory space. And immediately I was scared because there was a mimic here shooting like gold coins in my face. I was actually trying my best to spam return home so I can return home and not lose any items. It's so hard because there's poison attacks everywhere, but I managed to get home though. I now have all the materials I need to upgrade my weapon. The only problem though is I didn't have money, so it's time to open my shop again to earn some profit. My total profit is 121,000 gold and it's enough to upgrade our sword and shield. By upgrading this, we have an additional 100 attack and that's honestly crazy. And with my new weapon, I one-shot most of the enemies now. The weapon upgrade is crazy in this game. Like, I swear, the damage from like the previous tier to the new tier is so high. Just look at how I annihilate most of the enemies in one shot. Even the plant boss didn't even do anything. It just died in place. Feeling confident with my new weapon, I just headed straight to the boss. I didn't really care about healing up with my bed and also shielding up. I just straight up went in and like spammed my attack on its face. This was not a problem at all. Just look at my damage. Crazy amount of crits. I also have potions anyway, so even if my life is in danger, I can just use my potions. With my inventory full, it was now time to teleport back home and come back once I've been rejuvenated. I made an upgrade to my armor, giving me even more HP. I then opened up my shop because I needed more gold. And with enough materials and gold, I upgraded my bow to the next tier. And since I had some extra gold, I upgraded my sword and shield twice, giving it even more damage, up to plus 200 in total. And so I then returned to the dungeon and faced the final boss that this dungeon had to offer. It was a flower, a little flower, but I was mistaken. And with my new and empowered sword, I just lashed to its face. I still have my 3 shield to 50 extra HP, 5 potions on hand. I was scared of nothing. I can easily just disseminate this guy. I can easily just bruise this, tanking it in the face and slashing it with my sword. I still have that extra HP and shield. I have nothing to worry about. I will 100% survive and beat this guy. And with that, we have defeated the boss of the forest dungeon. Let's go. And we have received the second key. So we have 2 out of 4 now. And then opened up the boss chest, which contained a lot of loots. And usually the boss items are worth a lot of money. Also receive a new accessory called the Carnivorous Mute Amulet. It increases my HP but decreases my defense. Not like I have any defense anyways. So yeah, this was pretty helpful. We now have a total of 364 HP. And by defeating the boss of the forest dungeon, we now have unlocked the desert dungeon. Let's go. And with the extra money I had, I unlocked the NPC called Hawker. This guy sells decoration for our store. Like I said at the beginning of the video, each decoration has various effects. And I'm gonna focus mostly on profit and maybe the number of visitors that visit the shop. And so, since I'm poor with only 1,000 gold left, I opened my store again. I've earned about 100,000 gold from selling all the loots from defeating the boss of the forest dungeon. I then unlocked this character called the Banker. What I can basically do with this guy is put my money in him, and I can either withdraw the money within the week. It can either go up and down, but well, I never really used the feature. Anyhow, our next goal is to expand our shop even more. We need to collect about 120,000 gold for us to do so. And so it's finally time to explore the desert dungeon. For the enemies here, it consists a lot of these metallic monsters. They're pretty tanky, but with our 200 damage sword, not really that hard. Also, these mages right here, which keeps teleporting, pretty annoying, but they don't really attack frequently, so we have a time to like destroy them. There was also this mage that flew like a jet. It's pretty cool to look at. And also this hat-like thing that only shoots fireball diagonally. Another monster was this square contraption who shoots like flamethrowers. And if you get close to it, it will shoot like laser beams on your face. We demonstrate the laser beam, and just like that, it actually deals a lot of damage. The worst thing about this thing is like their tankiness and their early response to shooting lasers. They hurt a lot. There was also this ball which only moves like in one direction. You can easily block it with a shield, but well, it also can hit like a wall or something and stays in place. Anyways, since we found the hot spring, it means the boss will be on the next room. So for the boss, it's this hexagon machine which shoots like fireball. It's easily dodgeable. It only does this like 4 times, I guess. And you can just walk around or maybe put a shield up. So yeah, it's not really that tanky. As you can see, my damage is really high. It's crazy. So now we're already on our way to floor 2. Dang, we're pretty strong. But I decided to return home for now. My main focus would be to farming the materials and selling them on my shop, as well as upgrade my gears. I then enchanted my sword one more time, getting about 225 damage in total. And I continued my grind at the desert dungeon. And since the boss was fairly easy to defeat, I grinded this guy as well. I then continued on and grinded at the second floor. I was hoping to get like new items to upgrade my gears, hopefully. I'm not really sure where to look. I just decided to just keep exploring the area, I guess. I then went home and opened my shop so I can earn some gold. I'm actually poor right now. I only have like 3,900 gold left. Also, these desert items are pretty dang expensive. I'm earning so much gold just by selling them. And for the total profit of the day, it actually reached 456,000. And because I suddenly became rich, I did a lot of upgrades. I upgraded my house to level 3. I now have even more space to display my items. I also got an assistant, but I never really use her because she takes like 30% if ever I did. I then enchanted some of my armor because it adds like defense if I enchanted them, so this was pretty useful. Then resumed diving the dungeon in hopes to get the materials to improve my gears. I was thinking that maybe I should go fight the boss already, even if my gears aren't fully upgraded. Upon returning home though, I can see that I can upgrade my boots to the next tier, so I did so. I now have a total of 420 on HP because of this upgrade. Returned to the dungeon with the portal I made and then fought the corrupted Hexa. I was feeling brave because I have the buff effect from sleeping as well as some potions on hand. So this guy hits like, you know, you see that laser beam right there? Easily dodgeable by rolling into it. And another thing it does, the most dangerous one, would be shooting those and teleporting because it's very hard to defend against this attack. I just don't have the timing right. But like I said, it's very hard to defend against this thing. Good thing we have enough DPS to quickly finish the fight or we might be in trouble. And so I made my way to the 3rd floor. I can already tell that everything is getting tankier and tankier. I really need that weapon upgrade soon. I'm pretty sure I won't be able to defeat the boss here unless I have a fully upgraded weapon. So I guess that's the goal right now, to upgrade our weapon. There was something that I did here though. I fell down and grabbed like a certain book. I did not really pay attention to what was summoned when I grabbed the book. I just went up and continued my fight with the monster. I didn't know that I summoned something from just losing the item. And I thought I could defeat it. I was actually feeling confident that because of my very strong sword, there should be no problem fighting this thing. I tried shooting it down with my bow, and as you can see, it feels like I'm not dealing anything at all. So I decided maybe I should just hack and slash it with my sword. But the moment that it would touch me, I would regret it because I did not know that this thing was almost impossible to beat. And yeah, as you can see, it did like 11,000 damage and I lost most of the items I farmed. I wasted my time. And so I went back to grinding. And so I went home. I bought a lot of stuff from Hawker. I just recently noticed that I can place a lot of stuff in my base to improve my income or other additional benefits from these items. And opened my shop because I was pretty poor right now. I need some money. I actually managed to earn 1 million gold from everything I've sold. Crazy. I'm pretty rich. And now with the materials on hand and some money, I upgraded my sword to tier 3. Now had a damage of 250. I also upgraded my armor, further increasing my health. And with the remaining money I have, I fully enchanted my sword. It had about 328 damage in total after upgrading 3 times. I then resumed my journey at the 3rd floor and just look at my damage. Like, oh my god, we're doing so good damage now compared to before. But these things are still so tanky though. It was now finally time to face the boss of the desert dungeon. And look at this thing. It's like a giant snake or something. I have to take care of its how do you call this, body parts. So the only saving grace I have right now is the extra 250 health and my sword damage. I just hope that I can deal like enough damage for it to die before I lose all my potions and my health. It's very strong actually. It's dealing so much damage to me. Oh wow, it actually divides its body. Good thing we have a shield. Just look at how that thing bounces away. It's so useful. Like, oh my god. Alright, we're so close to beating this thing. As long as I keep a save. Oh my god, look at its damage. Oh, it's you and me, buddy. It's either I kill him first or I run out of potions and I die. But it seems like I will win this. Just one more body part and its head, and we should win. Oh my god, that was scary. And we have defeated the desert dungeon boss. Let's go. Alright, cool. Now we have the third key. Just one more and we can open the fifth door. For the rewards, it's the usual and another new accessory called the Naha Amulet. It boosts our HP in exchange for some attack power. I love my attack power, so I'm not wearing this thing. And just like the previous dungeons, the new dungeon now opened up after beating the desert dungeon. I then upgraded my bow to tier 3. I never really used this properly in a fight because my sword was too strong already. For now, I spent the day selling all the loot I've got from the desert dungeon before I proceed to going to the new dungeon called the tech dungeon. All the loots in total earned me about 415,000 gold. Let's go. And with that, I have enough money to fully upgrade my store to level 4. And just look at how big the inside is. We can now sell so many items now. Our empire is born. I then raided the desert dungeon again. I was looking for a certain item before I proceeded to the new dungeon, the tech dungeon. I continued this for a while. I just grinded at the desert dungeon. I was just looking for the material I needed to upgrade my bandana, but for some reason, I just can't find it. So I decided to go to the retailer and just purchase the item from him instead. Hopefully, it wasn't that expensive, and as I can see, it's only 2k each. I didn't need to bother to grind at the desert dungeon actually. I just needed to buy it from the retailer. And with that, I have upgraded my bandana to tier 3. I still continued grinding at the desert cave. I wasn't done yet grinding here. And so after reaching the last boss area and defeating all the monsters, I looted all the treasures, and that would conclude my final day on stepping on this dungeon. I will then spend the next 1 to 2 days selling everything I've got so far from the grind I did at the desert dungeon. And after selling everything, I earned about 1.8 million gold. And so it was finally time to visit the last dungeon, or the fourth dungeon called the tech dungeon. This place was filled with machine-like enemies, like this thing that summons lightning, and the other thing that I just killed, it shoots lightning beams. There were also these jellyfish-looking monsters, and they're pretty annoying than the other counterparts, because when you approach it or hit it, it will try and zap you, and yeah, it's really hard to avoid that attack. And then feeling brave with nothing to fear, I fought the first level boss. It was called the Oscillator. It didn't really feel tanky. Look, it's already half health. So just a few more hits and this should die. And I swear, my bow attack is not really that good. I did not upgrade this, but it is a tier 3 bow. The damage just isn't there. So I'd rather, tank some damage and melee attack the bosses rather than shoot them with a bow and arrow, which would take a while. And with melee, it can crit. And let's go! We have defeated the boss of the first floor. It's time to visit the second floor. actually didn't visit the second floor yet. I decided to fully explore the first floor. My goal right now was just the materials first, not really proceeding to the next levels. Upon returning home, I was very happy to see that I can immediately craft the tier 4 sword and shield. I already have enough materials to do so. That's pretty crazy actually. So I crafted it immediately. Let's look at this thing. Red sword and black and red shield. It looks pretty cool. And with my new sword, I continued grinding at the tech dungeon. I'm so happy with my damage. You look at that number. Sheesh. Just look at how I'm doing with the boss. The boss just can't even live that long. Look at the amount of damage I'm doing. Oh my god, crazy numbers. Dang. I wonder how it would be if I was using a two-handed sword instead. Well, I'm too lazy to craft everything from scratch. Anyways, upon returning home, I was now able to craft a bandana tier 4. I also upgraded my bow to the tier 4 version and my boots. And so the only armor piece left now is to upgrade our armor. And so the grind continues until we got a fully upgraded armor and weapon. Well, my weapon's already fully upgraded, so the only thing left is the armor really. And with all the items I've grinded so far, it was finally time to open my shop and sell everything except for the stuff I need to upgrade my armor or make the chest piece. I eventually managed to sell everything and now my total money is around 1.8 million. The next day, I then upgraded my armor to its tier 4 version. Now I have a total of 984 health. Crazy. I made sure to enhance everything I had on all the armor set. Except the bow because I ran out of upgrade crystals. And so I continued my grind at the tech dungeon. After the grind, I went home and upgraded my bow twice. It was finally time to face the boss, the corrupted oscillator. This thing looks pretty tough, but I feel like I could just go in and slash my sword again and again until it dies. I'm just being extra careful here because, you know, I had bad experience with other corrupted bosses. So I'm just making sure that I have enough HP. And I'm making use of my bow right now. As you can see, it doesn't really do that much damage compared to the melee weapon, of course, since it's a long-range weapon after all. But we'll make work of it. Eventually got tired of using my bow and just went straight in with my melee weapon. I just thought like I could probably just tank this. I still have like 5 potions in my inventory. This is probably possible. I'll just keep slapping it until it dies. Just a few more hits and I should be victorious. And let's go, we won. We defeated the boss. Since I still had a lot of potions in hand, I decided to explore the 3rd floor and I immediately met a mimic that was throwing coins at me again. Everything here seems pretty tanky, but doable, yeah. And after reaching the resting spot, I decided I need to go home first and store my stuff. I didn't waste any more time since I already have a fully upgraded sword and some upgraded armors. It was time to face the boss straight up. No more need to wait or something. Alright, so I'll try to just fight this boss with a bow at first. You know, try to test the waters. And oh my god, look at that 172 damage it just hit me. I think it's better if I just melee this guy and the same as usual, tank everything. But right now it feels like using the bow is okay. I got impatient, so I just rushed in with my sword eventually. And look at my damage. Its HP is draining so fast. So now we have a good strategy against this guy. Just rush in its face. You know, it's way better than trying to dodge whatever it tries to hit us with in its long range attacks. So I'm better off just doing the same attack I did before. Tanking everything and just trying to slash it with my sword. Oh well, there are times where it's way better to just use my ranged weapon. Just like earlier. Anyways, a few more hits and this boss should be dead. Alright, a few more. Oh my god. Okay, time to go in and slice and dice this little punk. And we have defeated the boss of the tech dungeon. And we have received the fourth key needed to open the fifth dimensional door. Let's go! Alright. I then looted the boss loots and I got a new accessory called the Energy Flux Amulet. And it gives more health but cancels the critical strike of my secondary attack. It's not like I use a secondary attack on my sword and shield. It's basically just the shield. So yeah, we can use this without any cons. With all the keys inserted, we have opened the door to the fifth dimension. Wazam! For the next day, I decided to sell all my loots from the tech dungeon first before I headed straight to the new and opened fifth dungeon. And for the profit, I gained about 1.8 million total from selling everything. Alright, time to visit the fifth dimension door. Let's go! Upon entering this place, it's pretty unique. It's not the same as the other dimensions or dungeons. It's basically like a giant ship with these green-like things. There are a lot of dead bodies here as well. I wasn't really sure what's inside here. Well, we can see. And look, it's I guess projection of the keys. Well, I think we're close to what we need to be seeing, I think. After reaching floor 2 of this dungeon, I met this guy. He is the last dimensional pirate. And he said that every one of them, the pirates, are trapped inside. But now, because of us, they have a way to escape. And yeah, they'll continue to pillage villages and other planets or dimensions, I guess, in order to rebuild their things. So yeah, he's a bad guy, so we need to defeat him. The damage he deals is pretty high, so I'm kind of scared if I have enough resource to beat this guy. But yeah, same strategy as the other bosses. I'm just gonna charge in its face and try to like tank everything out. Not even thinking of dodging, but I will dodge if I can. Alright, so for this guy, it's fairly easy to dodge. So whenever he charges up his sword, I'll just dodge on its other side and avoid the damage. I'm assuming there's gonna be a second or third phase because this is the final boss after all. So yeah, we're good. We have defeated the first phase. And he's actually an amoeba? Amoeba? How do you pronounce it? Amoeba. Now he brought his little ship right there. So what's gonna happen now? Okay, he's a giant boy. So alright, cool. So just like what we did to the golem before. I'll just charge in its face and just, I guess, oh my god. Good thing I have like 5 potions. I'm fine. I think, yeah, we can probably just tank everything and just kill this guy. Not sure what it's up to now. Oh my god, yeah. The plan, the best plan should probably be just face tank everything and attack him with all I got. Alright, just a few more hits. Hopefully there's no more third phase, because I'll be in trouble if there is. I've been using a lot of my potions already. Okay, and we have defeated the last dimensional pirate. Maybe. And yeah, we did it. I got a lot of achievement from that. 3 to be exact. And for some reason, there seems to be a galactic police that visited the village. They were here to shut down the dungeons, as these dungeons were manned by the dimensional pirates. Anyways, after defeating the boss, I got thrown out of the 5th dimension. And so I told them what happened, that the pirates killed each other, and then I defeated their final last boss guy. Said that all of the villagers should be arrested because we've been using this dimensional door. But we helped them locate the pirate and even defeated the last boss. They're most likely gonna turn a blind eye to this, but further going inside the dungeons is gonna be illegal and stuff though. He warns me of that. He said he would invite me to the ICT, the Dimensional Commerce Treaty, so we can do legal trade and we can raid the dungeons, I guess. Anyways, with this, we have beaten the game. Well, actually not yet. There's still a DLC. 3 months later. Another dimension opened at the ruins. So wow, we have a new place to discover, I guess. So the space police brought me to the gate and They wanted me to investigate inside and shut it down if I can. So sure, okay. First, I went back to town though, because I wanted to check if ever there are new available weapons and armors. And yes, there was actually a lot of new armors. Wow, a full set. There are also new weapons that I can unlock. I decided that this time I'm gonna go for a spear. Realize how important having a long range is compared to like having the sword. Anyways, I went inside the dungeon to check what's up. So this place is called the Wanderer Dungeon, and it's filled with various monsters from all over the dimensions. The more unique ones are these machines that we've never encountered yet. And these guys are the ones that drops the new items that we will need to craft the new gears. I even saw a knight right here. Like, look at this guy. He looks really strong and very tanky. And he is actually. So I really need that weapon upgrade soon, or else I'm gonna have a hard time dealing with these guys. In one room, I suddenly saw a teleporter. So this was pretty good. It's like a save point where we can just go to town once we have like a bag full of loots. After storing my stuff, I continued the grind. Favorite enemy in the dungeon, it would probably be this giant tank right here, because he drops the armor plates that we need for almost every item that needs to be crafted. This thing doesn't really appear that much, and sometimes he doesn't even drop that metallic plate. Anyways, I was so close to crafting the new spear. I just needed 5 more items, and this thing can be obtained through the old dungeons. Desert dungeon to be exact. So I went and grinded at the desert dungeon. Everything was fairly easy because we already have like a fully upgraded tier 4 weapon. So yeah, everything seems like paper here right now. Now that I have all the materials, I can now make the spear. Let's go! Continue the grind in order to fully upgrade this spear. I made sure to upgrade it as it only costs like 200 gold. My damage is better now compared to before, where everything was just so tanky and I'm like using a toothpick to like poke the enemies. But now it's pretty decent and I can easily kill them now. Wanderer Dungeon, there are 3 NPCs that we will meet. One would exchange some of the dimensional slimes we get for potions. Another one can make a shortcut by using like 2 cursed items plus some slimes and gold. And the last one was a blacksmith, but I didn't really have any blueprints right now. I then spoke with a carpenter and he said he could upgrade my store for 500,000 gold. I mean, like, sure, go for it. My store looks pretty high-tech now. I even have a Roomba. Next day, I crafted myself a new helmet. This thing gave me like 560 health. It's amazing. I now have about 1.3k health because of this bandana. It's only tier 1. And so I went back to the dungeon for even more grinding. And look how tanky this thing is. I hate it. I wish for a better weapon right now. And after killing more of those tank-like creatures, I can finally upgrade my spear to tier 2. But the problem is I didn't have money, so I need to sell stuff the next day before we can actually upgrade our spear. And for the total profit, I made about 1.9 million. This would enable us to make or upgrade a spear now. And so I immediately went to the blacksmith, upgraded my spear. Just need to look for 3 more of the metallic plates again and we can upgrade it to tier 3. So yeah, as you can see, it's mostly just gonna be grinding until I fully improve my weapon, as well as exploring the Wanderer's Dungeon, unlocking portals until we keep going higher and higher. So it's a rinse and repeat of selling all the stuff I've gained so far in the dungeon and keep raiding the dungeons until I have enough material to fully upgrade my gears. In the dungeon, I was finally able to unlock a shortcut, so now we can at least go straight ahead to floor 2 without going to floor 1 anymore. Also, I fought this giant skeleton boss. It wasn't really that hard, as you can see. I had like 3 attack and vulnerability since I went home first to regenerate from my bed. His damage was high though, but easily dodgeable, I guess. And because I've upgraded most of my armor set already, I have like 2.5k HP. So this wasn't a threat at all. And we have defeated the skeleton boss and got ourselves a ring. The amulet was called a Kung Fu Elemental Amulet, and what it does, it sometimes shines really bright and confuses the enemy. I'm not really interested in it, so I'm not probably gonna use it. So this is what it looks like when you've unlocked a shortcut. You can basically choose which floor you want to go to. Also, I don't think I've ever shown this guy, but this guy's a monster with a hazmat suit. It's one of the monsters in the Wonders dungeon, as well as this thing that like a worm plus the skeleton right there. I then encountered a slime boss. This was still floor 2 by the way. So I guess the bosses are random. It was either the giant skeleton or the slime. It wasn't really a problem. As you can see, my spear was doing a lot of damage, so I had no problem taking care of this slime. My current goal right now was to unlock more shortcuts, as well as defeat more of those tank monsters that drop the metallic sheets. Because I swear to god, the metallic sheets is, I guess, the #1 item that we need in order to upgrade our stuff. On floor 4, I reached the resting area and unlocked another shortcut. Upon reaching town, there was a new NPC, and what this does is he sells like pretty rare stuff that is required to fully upgrade our new gears and weapons. And this thing resets every 3 in-game days, and the materials that he needs resets as well. For now, I bought a bunch of these minerals as I need this to upgrade my spear. He doesn't take gold, but instead he takes items in exchange for the items he has. It has been a while since I last opened my shop, so I opened it selling a lot of new items actually that I got from the Wonderverse dungeon. And they're pretty expensive. As you can see, like a full stack of the Golem toy. I'm not sure if it's a Golem toy, but anyways, it's like 120,000 gold plus the interest I get from all the items I put so far in the decorations plus the golden cashier. So yeah, I'm earning a buttload of money from selling these things. And by a lot, I mean my profit today was 4.9 million. And finally, after crafting myself an armor, I now have the entire set. Look at me looking mechanical. Yeah. Upon resuming my adventures at the dungeon, this slime dropped me a blueprint. And the weapon was called a bone sword. So I was pretty interested in seeing what it does or what it looks like. So I'm gonna craft it at a resting spot. So in order to craft the item in the dungeon, we'll need to use like the dimensional slimes we've gained so far. I only briefly used it because my spear was way stronger than this thing, so it wasn't really worth using a resource to craft this thing. But hey, I'm still happy that I tried it out. It looks really cool with all the lighting effect. After reaching the resting area at floor 6, I didn't have enough of the dimensional slimes to unlock this shortcut. I was so devastated and regretted making the bone sword. I tried exploring the entire floor, but I don't think killing all these monsters on this floor would be enough to collect like 240 dimensional slimes. The dimensional slimes I'm saying is the one located on your upper left, their green icon. So I had no choice but just to go back to town, upgrade my spear, and call it a day. The next day, I continued my grind. I made sure this time that I would collect a total of 240 of the dimensional slime so I can unlock the shortcut. And yeah, I did. I unlocked the 6th floor shortcut. Let's go. After returning home and coming back to the dungeon, it was finally time for a boss fight. I don't really give time for my enemies to, you know, have a chance of attacking. I just straight up stab them. Anyways, this was the Corrupt Dimensional Watcher. It's one of the police, I believe, but corrupt. Anyways, this thing was pretty annoying as it was flying everywhere. I just wanted to like tank everything it does and continuously hit it with my spear. So I'm pretty happy that it started using its shotgun. As you can see, I have a total of 5,000 HP from all the equipment upgrades I have so far. And yeah, I just face tank everything right now. Especially this guy right here. Not really a problem. And boom, he's dead. After reaching floor 8 and getting to the resting area, to make the shortcut, I needed 480 dimensional slimes. And oh my god, I only have 290 right now. So I guess I won't be able to make this. My plan to make this was to go to floor 4, ascend throughout floor 5, 6, 7, and 8, and hopefully I should have around 480 slimes by then, right? And that's exactly what I did. And upon reaching floor 8 again, this time I had about 540 dimensional slimes. So now I can unlock the shortcut. We're almost at the final boss because floor 8 is the last shortcut. So I assume that floor 9 is where the final boss is. I continued journeying on floor 8, and there was this guy called Evil Will. He is my evil twin, and yeah, I just continuously stab him with my spear. He had no chance of getting close to me at all. My spear is long, your sword is short. He had no chance at all to even hit me. I mean, he has some chance, but as you can see here, I'm just bullying him with the distance of my spear. Well, if ever he does hit me, it hurts a lot. He also uses a bow from time to time, but not really a problem since we still have like 5 potion slots. And we have defeated the Evil Will. Let's go. Anyways, I returned home and sold a bunch of the goodies I've gathered so far. I have a lot. And a day's profit was about 7.7 million gold. I'm rich. Also, I've already fully upgraded my helmet and my boots. Only the armor and the spear left. And so I continued grinding at the dungeon. I really wanted to fully upgrade my gear first before I face the final boss. Currently, I was at floor 90, and as you can see, the enemies are so tanky because I only have like tier 3 of the final spear. I eventually found the gate to the final boss, but I did not really want to fight this thing, not until I fully upgrade both my armor and my weapon. For now, I grinded at the lower levels first because I just needed the metallic tank-looking monster that drops the metallic sheet in order to fully upgrade my spear. And after I found it, I immediately went home, upgraded my spear to tier 4, and finally tier 5. Wait, actually, no, I'm missing one more crystal! The rat was exchanging some certain item for a crystal, but I only had 3 of them, so I had to dive to the dungeon again and come back. And once I have enough, I will go back home and then craft that thing and fully upgrade my spear and also enhance it and then fight the final boss. It was a ride, but we have it now. The crystal we need in order to fully upgrade our spear. And with this, I have upgraded it to tier 5. It now has like 4,437 damage. And upon enchanting it, it will have like 5,698 damage. Oh my god, crazy numbers. I then bought about 10 hyper potion from the merchant. So now I'm very ready to fight the last boss. And so I made my way to the dungeon to floor 10. Look at my damage. Amazing. Look at that. 4.5k per hit. I'm so strong right now with a 9k crit. Crazy. And finally, it was time for the last boss. So it was this NPC right here. The one who's been assisting us on our safe spot, I guess. Oh my god, it's actually this dude right here. The one that one-shot us when we were like low level. Dang. I guess not this time since we have a fully upgraded armor. But oh my god, he does like 1.7k per hit. That hurts a lot. And I only have like 5 potions with me. 5 extra potions. But we're doing a lot of damage as well. So it's either him or me who dies first. I'm assuming it's gonna be him, hopefully. I guess I gotta be careful now because I don't really have a lot of... I have 4 more potions left. Best dodge all his like circle attack, but he makes those spiky things that damages me. And yeah, there we go. We have defeated the boss. All right, let's go. But then again, you know how it is with final bosses. There's always like a second or third form. So keep in mind, we only have 3 more elixirs left. And I hope I can deal with this guy. Oh my god, that stomp attack is annoying. Alright, so far so good. We still have 2 potions left. We got this. And yeah, a few more hits and we should win. Yes, and we have defeated the last boss of the Between Dimensions DLC. Let's go! It seems everyone was waiting for me outside. They were kinda worried that I might not be able to handle the mission that I was been given. But haha, jokes on them, I actually defeated the boss. Well, I was unconscious after getting out. So they took me to my shop and had me rest, and the captain explained everything I explained to him in a way that we would understood. So basically that guy was trapped in there and there's no way for him to escape. So it's an immortal cycle of agony, but they will try their best to extract that guy. They will deliver the police there in order to help that guy. And as the captain said, they will lead a special team in order to break the cycle to prevent that guy from agonizing even more. The captain thanks us for our service, and also the old man was amazed that he lived at the same era as us. He called us Will of the Moonlighter, Savior of Rhinoka, now Conqueror of the Dimensions Between Dimensions. So he lived the most amazing life indeed. So yeah, thank you guys for watching this adventure. Hope you guys enjoyed your stay here. Don't forget to click that like and subscribe button. Thanks again. Bye now.